this game again. And last time, if you didn't watch my first video, I said I never played this game until now. And this is the second part. So if you want to watch the first one, then...
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Stanley.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
This hasn't happened before.
427.
Oh, oh. Well, I never saw a cutscene like that.
All of his co-workers were
balloons.
Gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
That happened. That was before. Yeah. Just tell Gadsden that was before. Because
warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
You got the bucket, and
Stanley
go to the
clutched
right.
the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
The
but
bucket
Stanley
told
had
me
felt
to,
the bucket
okay?
calling to him,
The bucket
telling
told
him
me
that
to.
the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Oh, every time
and so
I
the
leave
two of them
room,
detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Okay. Loading.
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
What the heck? What's the big baby?
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Hey, man, no, man.
Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Not this music again. If you don't know what this music is, when we were following the line in the first chapter, he had the stupid music on.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Come on!
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me, it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along.
Why do you want to destroy my bucket?
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does?
I'm definitely not
Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you.
Hell no!
Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Nope.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Did I do the right precision? Whoa, what's that? The Bucket Destroyer. It's in heaven!
Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here,
fast.
You were magnificent.
Now what do I do? Oh, it's loading. That's kind of cool. I'll say. And when we go down the elevator, that room definitely changed. Because I never saw a baby in that room. We're back. I'm gonna guess something might be different. Because
all
no way we could just...
was gone. What could it mean?
Can you
Stanley
stop talking
decided to
over
go to
me?
the meeting room.
We heard your line like
missed a
1,000 times. Now I want to see if we
Stanley
actually put the
picked up
bucket
the
in the
bucket
bucket
and
destroyer.
He'd never be alone again. Not truly alone. Not with the bucket around.
Let's go in
Stanley
the right
clutched the
door
bucket
again.
tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. No, never mind.
Yeah.
The bucket was wrong.
That's what I was going to do.
Stanley took the door on his left to go, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
I could just jump down now. See what's down there. Well, we already know what's down there. The baby. The weird baby.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Oh, God, not this again.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Whee! Look at that
Now I
wacky
actually
line.
agree with
Who
you because
knows
I
where
want
it'll go off to
different
next?
ending.
Oh, and it played some silly
I feel
music
like
as
any
well.
time I go past a truck, it's gonna run me over. Not this dumb one. This sounds like it was made in 21.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
You never used
It's as
that in the
classic now as
first
it was
one.
back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Yeah, the bucket.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket
Why do I keep
Destroyer.
hitting my mic?
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me, it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along.
Well,
Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does?
Yes, I know
Surely
what it
you
does.
don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket.
In.
I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Yeah, I tried. Okay, I tried.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye,
If you just
new
don't
friend.
pick up the bucket.
For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Now back loading screen. Yay! No.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No, 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 no. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
One more.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, I'm 427. Of course. I'm 427.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Okay.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again?
Please,
well, I find
no.
it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Come on, why do you keep Well. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Did you just get rid of all the dolls?
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything? Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Pretty simple.
No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
Whoa. Boy doesn't even know how to fix the glitches.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Not this again.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. This all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, Yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine. Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
The line again. Okay, whatever. I was trying to read it. I'm a button presser, no. A button presser.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean, truly, truly, deeply, madly love. Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Yep, really
At
love
this
it.
point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left. Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
I can do anything? Because I'm just gonna wait for more dialogue. Okay, been 31 minutes. Maybe? No.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
How can you tell your spot one? What makes them flow in? Follow clues, and by we can do it. Thank you. Good luck. There will be an answer for finding them all. So we need to find them all. Where could they be though?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled.
You are dreaming.
This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just...
For all the silence.
He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
Wait, we already been here.
So he closed his eyes
got
gently,
here
and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons.
Well, buddy, that's
Please.
not gonna happen.
It's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
You're not okay, buddy. You're insane.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
And then he died.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Loading. We're back.
All of his co-workers
where
were
we came
gone.
from.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
And I'm gonna try to push his buttons.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic, like a combination of a much smaller version and a much larger version of this exact room. It all made Stanley uncomfortable, and he started to bleed a little. This made him smile. At last, proof that he was human. Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room.
Yeah,
a
really
room so
worth it.
utterly captivating that even
Yeah.
though all your co-workers have
4
mysteriously
minutes.
vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paint. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No, I didn't actually.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's
I'm
incredible
not
he
bad
wasn't
at
5
following
years
directions.
ago.
I just want to see endings.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's
Yeah, but
someone you've
it's
been
all
neglecting,
about me.
Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Who's been waiting? My secret admirer? Oh God!
That's her, Stanley.
I forgot
You
that
need to
that
be the
can
one to
do
do
that.
this. To
And now we're going to heaven.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting.
No,
I'm
you're a
just calling
mannequin.
friends.
I
Yeah.
know you are.
Oh.
In the last version, you're a mannequin.
Okay, there we go.
Nobody cares about you,
All right, now,
mannequin.
I want you to come in and tell me
Mannequin
all about
head. Mannequin head. I knew it. It was a mannequin head.
Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to
No,
commit their life
it's a
to
mannequin
you?
head.
I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
I don't want to go inside.
Sorry,
And you
but
make
you're
a
in
brick
my story
wall.
now.
I want to see what's over there. Because if you make a brick wall, he's like a god.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Nope, 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 nope.
Stanley is quite a boring
Nope.
fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes
Why do you have
is a
to tell-
reminder of the inconsequential nature of
Why do you
his
have to
existence.
tell people my life?
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job.
No.
First, he
TV
imagined that one
turned
day
to
while
clock.
at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
No.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
I've been playing for like a lot of times.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets. The more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this. That in this world, he can never be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself.
I'm not killing
myself. He won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this.
I'm doing anything
Stanley,
but
the next time the
myself.
screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I have no choice, man. Last time in the last video, I tried to wait, but it didn't work.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button.
Did the priest die off my screen? Well, I died. Back here. My wife is still a desk.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing.
This is not the story before? Did you change the whole story?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge. What a room, Stanley thought to him, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
You're right.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that.
Sounds
Another
horrible.
Stanlerine under your belt.
I found it right here. Because nobody would go there. They'd be like, I want to finish the story. So they would go in the elevator. Loading, 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 loading. Loading, 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 loading. We know that it's loading.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
I won't die. Stop saying I'll die. I'm not
The
gonna
door
die.
behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Okay. You're right. You're right. I was wrong.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Oh wait, this is how you beat the game.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
I don't want to beat the game.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have... Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. Welcome! You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the mind control facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours. So here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your perception of the value of these updates. Isn't that what you crave? New content? Always more content, more, more. And I'm here to give it to you. I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just for this section. You won't hear it anywhere else in the game. It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special you are. We call this track, Good Job You've Made It to the Bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Well done.
Good job, you did it. Good job.
How do I remind?
Good job, you made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. You jumped on the catwalk. You should have been careful. You should have been careful. It used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier and chase your dreams. Railings don't mean anything.
I told you I didn't want to beat the
job, you did it. Good job,
So I
you
found
did
a
it.
way to
Good job,
this
you did
ugly
it.
song.
Good job, you did it. 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 Good job, you did it.
Now what do I do though? Nope. Another loading screen. Good job, you did it. You did it. You did it. Good job, 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 you did it. I'm back here. Well, I'm back here. What? Okay, no. Wait. I see that a lot of things are different. Like, the bucket was not here before.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he
I'm gonna
wanted
go
to stop by the
clean.
employee
Well,
lounge first,
fine.
just to admire it.
I'm gonna go. I'll go left on the next one, okay?
It was okay. But eager to get back to business,
Okay, I don't wanna
Stanley
beat the
took the
game.
first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5
Told
years
you
ago.
78 times. Oh. Do not jump from the... Well, you know what I'm doing.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
I'm dead. Can you call the ambulance or something? Wow, everybody thinks I'm so powerful. And I am so powerful.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
It could
Stanley
mean
decided
that
to go to the
he's
meeting
a
room.
stupid
Perhaps he had simply
pants.
missed a memo.
Stupid. See, like my room was over there. That definitely
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, I did this time. Because somebody told me to. I dropped the controller.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Because we don't want to go insane again, do we? Whoa! 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 That's the first time I could open doors. This is the first time I could even open doors. Of course he's on
Okay, I'm
the
going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness
Figurines.
that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Yeah, there's a prize. He's just saying money in the morning. I waited that long already. Wait, what? Can I open it again? Of course I can. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money capsule. This guy's obsessed with money. He eats money for breakfast. Whatever that
Okay, I
was.
think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Kill
You didn't even let me do 2845. We already got it, and yeah, we hit some buttons. We hit some buttons, everybody. And then we go down a stupid elevator, which brings us to a stupid location that I don't even remember. Oh, it brings us here.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind
Escape.
Control
I
Facility.
want to escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Well, no. It just unplugged itself.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Stop saying I'm gonna die. Man, I already know I'm gonna die. Oh yeah, guess he was right.
As the
if
machine
you watched
whirred into
the
motion
first
and
video,
Stanley was
I
inched
ended
closer
it
and
here.
closer to his demise,
But I know
he reflected that his
you don't
life had been of
wanna
no
just
consequence
watch me
whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture.
well,
he doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his
it's
narrow
not gonna
vision
cost
of
me
what this
because
world is. Perhaps his
I'm the
death
most
was
popular
of no
guy
great
in the
loss,
world.
like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man.
Oh
So
no,
he
I'm gonna
resigned
die.
and willingly accepted this violent
Who
end
knew this
to
was
his
gonna
brief
happen?
and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Who knew this was gonna happen? R.I.P. everyone. Or not.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Guess I'm invincible.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
No.
What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Now what do I do? Do I go this way? Or do I go... I can't go that way. Maybe I can.
Then he pushed the number 8. Then he pushed the number 4.
What the hell?
Stanley stood on the snow. Stanley walked over the bridge. Stanley pushed the number 6. Now then, this elevator for sure will get him right back on track.
Did you just take the operator's voice lines off his clock? I'm tired of you, okay? From this is just like the back rooms. Exit. Was that easy? We found the
look
exit.
at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No.
No,
Perhaps not.
I'm blind.
Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Yeah, some of those things cannot
But
be
listen
seen.
to me. You can still save those two.
No,
You can
no.
stop the program before they both fail. Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other
This
way
is where
to
I
beat
cut the
this
game
game.
last time. Nope.
As long as
no.
you move
Get
forward,
out.
you'll be
Get
walking
out,
someone
please.
else's path. Stop now, and it'll be your only true choice.
I can't do it again.
You do choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let.
Operator, why did you not save me? Is that a book? Is that a book? It's a book. I was about to say, oh, I'm tinier. Imagine I was tiny as like this.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
No, it was Anderson. He told me the password. It was him. He did it.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an
Drop the
unknown
balloon
fate.
again.
It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. The door behind them was not
it's
shut.
with a bucket.
Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on
And
track.
with buckets, they're
At this
different,
point,
okay?
Stanley and the bucket were
Buckets
knowingly
are
walking forward into a
different.
very painful death for each of them.
Yeah, I'm dying. I'm buying the dying. I'm buying the die. Dying to buy. Buy, die, bucket. Bucket, I don't know where you are.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end
helped me.
as it was crushed violently to death.
Oh.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Bucket! My bucket's gone! I didn't kill the bucket. Where's my bucket, lady? Lady, where's my bucket?
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life? No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket. But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Give me my bucket back?
Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine.
Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let
Come on, I
Stanley
have a
die
bucket,
together.
man.
The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Why do you have to do this? This lady's mean. She just tries to kill me. Why do you try to kill me? Now you have it on a stupid art museum?